Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Wiki Comic Book Roundup. We've got this week's X-Men books. Now it's time to move on to this week's Avengers books, as well as one of our DC books. Kicking things off, we've got Avengers number 57. Where we left off, the Avengers were having to figure out how to deal with Mephisto and his whole multiversal plan to end the reign, to nip the heroic age in the bud. So, this issue takes place during World War II and focuses, 1943 to be exact, and focuses on Sergeant Zardos, the Soldier Supreme. This is supposed to be 1943 of the Earth 616, as far as I can tell. But Zardos has heard rumors of a new Axis weapon, a mystical weapon, and but he's hitching a ride on a supply ship full of nuns, and a possessed U-boat attacks him. He seemingly destroys it. Wakes up ashore on an island with a handful of survivors, but one of them gets possessed and attacks Zardos. Possession quickly ends when the other soldiers becomes possessed and starts firing on the others. Eventually, Zardos had to within weeks. Zardos had to kill the entire squad that washed up ashore with him. Communes with the Ancient One, just before the island is attacked by Nazi soldiers. But the Ancient One tells him that to exorcise this particular demon, who is said as an archfiend, you have to learn the demon's true name, and then physically lay hands on the person possessed. After the Nazis show up and start shooting up the island, three fiery birds pop up, and I'll say Mephisto. I'll tell him Mephisto. But as Nazis invade the island, something's pushing them back. A large bomb hits, which has a star brand on it. Valkyrie flies through it. I think German said Spitfire. A German jet. And a freak thunderstorm takes out the destroyer that brought them all there. As Zardos runs through the jungle, he finds a Hellcat fighter, hops in, and engages with a dogfight. Engages in a dogfight with a possessed German pilot. The pilot manages to shoot up Zardos' jet, but he hops out and manages to exorcise the demon from the pilot. When eventually the rest of his secret invaders show up. Leading the charge is none other than Ghost Rider of the 1940s, who has a Hellfire tank. Apparently they had to deal with a squadron of vampire Luftwaffe. And as for the secret invaders, you got, like I said, the aforementioned Ghost Rider, Blade, and War Thing. But Zardos explained briefly what happened, and that whoever it was that helped him was probably dealing with something much bigger than World War II. And that is where the issue ends. The story's getting fairly interesting. To be completely, what I like most was seeing the ghost. The Ghost Rider in a tank. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, good start to the next act in the Avengers versus Mephisto and Council of Red Ark. So, but moving on to our next book, we've got Captain America: Symbol of Truth, #2. Where we left off, Captain America, Sam Wilson, was investigating a Captain America and Sam had stopped it. Went after a train that was rumored to be filled with super soldier serum components, but actually was filled with illegal migrants, including one of whom his sidekick Falcon knows. The migrants were going to be taken. It was said the migrants would be taken care of, while Falcon was trying to investigate it. A lead was sending him to Liberia. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure broke Crossbones out of prison. So, for most of the issue, the figure that freed Crossbones and him are observing and discussing events. Crossbones is a little bored because, well, he wants to get his hands dirty as soon as possible. But Cap comes upon Deadpool. He's got questions for Deadpool after all. And but Deadpool is currently being tortured and interrogated in Liberia. So Sam goes and frees Deadpool. The two of them team up to get out of the building they're in. At the facility that the migrants are being treated at, we learned that one of them, at least one, has a blood anomaly that's been detected. Falcon asks Deadpool if he knows anything about someone smuggling super soldier serum. Tells him what happened about, there was no super soldier serum on the train, just people trying to get somewhere safe. But as they make their escape, Deadpool tells Sam what he knows. Apparently, Deadpool's hunting it out a bounty. Henderson white supremacist outfit, not a people smuggler or a people person in general, but a smuggler with a soft spot for advanced tech, probably, and is trying to get some vibranium. Back in the States, Falcon is talking with the migrant that he knew. Apparently, the migrants are all being kept sedated, and she reveals that they were in a lab. The soldier that kidnapped them from Maquiadora and held them in a lab. Falcon goes to talk to the surviving soldier who attacked the train. Explains he was paid. The guy explains he was paid, and when asked who paid him, the guy simply says they got a target and half the payment in their bank account. They're point and shoot guys. But an alarm goes off, and so Falcon and the others go to investigate. Apparently, an unidentified substance was detected in Wing 4, and as Falcon flies off to help deal with things, the prisoner is shot and killed. Falcon rescues the woman he knows, Louisa, causing an explosion. But Wolfman, the guy who broke, as Crossbones calls him, the guy who broke Crossbones out of prison, and explains that he's leaving breadcrumbs for Captain America and the Falcon. He also adds that the thrill of the hunt doesn't come from sinking your teeth into your prey's throat or the chase. It comes from that moment when you know they're trapped and they don't realize it yet. As in Latveria, as Wade and Sam are making their escape, Wade adds that vibranium is what everyone was after, though Sam quickly points out that vibranium doesn't leave Wakanda without the government say so. But before Cap and Deadpool can escape, they're stopped by a trio of Latvian helicarriers and met by Doom. And that is where the issue ends. Things are definitely getting interesting. I'm not going to lie. The first issue baited the hook nicely, so far so good. Interesting book. It's kind of nice to get to see, to read comic adventures of Sam as Cap, because, well, I was out of comics when, for the initial Sam Wilson Captain America run. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got the Iron Man and Hellcat Annual. So most recently, Iron Man proposed to Hellcat, and Hellcat basically said, not right now. No, at least not a hard no, more of a, at the very least, not at the moment. So they're taking a break. But we begin with the two of them getting married. We see Hulk, Doctor Strange, Captain America, Gargoyle, Doctor Doom, and even the Silver Surfer and Black Knight in attendance. But when they go to cut the cake, the knife breaks. And Iron Man suggests that Hellcat use her claws. She cuts into the cake and And she wakes up, she's become sick, and she's on a plane and she's become sick. The person next to her realizes who she is, but and suggests that while they're still both be in San Francisco, they should get together and have a drink sometime. But Patsy's telepathy kind of picks up on his the full scope of his intentions, and yeah. But she's met by Hetty Wolf, her mother's driver, and taken to a home that apparently Patsy's mother had, McConnell Manor. It was her, basically was the family home for her mother's family. But and Patsy had heard their house burned down when her mother was a kid. But it is definitely a state of disrepair. Hetty insists upon staying the night. And they basically have a slumber party like the old days. And later on, Patsy hears a growling from the attic, goes to investigate, and finds her old stuffed rabbit. She goes to bed, wakes up later, and finds Hetty's room covered in blood, so she calls Tony, when Buttons says your claws to her. And then explains that Patsy has to hurry, or she's going to be late. Patsy passes out, and suddenly she's at a party. Her entire family's downstairs. Iron Man arrives, finds the bloody room, then finds Patsy passed out. Buttons tells Iron Man how to help her, but it turns out that Patsy's first ex-husband is present as well. And while her mother is quite happy to see Patsy, well, says that Patsy shouldn't be there. But Patsy's ex demons out. Iron Man then joins the party. Hetty is revealed to be alive, but in the thrall of blood scourges, hence the blood. And the mastermind of the whole thing is revealed to be none other than Blackheart. It's explained that he holds the souls of everyone in the McConnell clan. As apparently Patsy's mother promised Patsy to him, but Patsy refused to come. And so Blackheart took her soul instead. Iron Man arrives, and, well, the flames of hell are a bit hot, and, well, iron and heat don't exactly mix too well. But Buttons keeps while Patsy and Blackheart fight, Buttons is telling Patsy to use her claws. And she does, and also seemingly pulls out Blackheart's heart. As he said that they were all the souls of everyone in her family were encased within him, and so she pulls out his heart seemingly and frees him. But next morning, Hetty decides she's going to go stay elsewhere, and Iron Man flies off, and Patsy has a talk with Buttons, who's actually her ex-husband, Damien Hellstrom. It's explained that Mephisto and Blackheart are making big plays for the Netherworld. As Damien is the true son of Satan, they see him as a rival heir. It resulted in Damien's forced exile and a massive loss of power, as well as loss of his height and good looks. Damien tries to recruit her, and she drop kicks him out away, and then just flops down on the couch. But Damien, it turns out the house did burn down, but Blackheart raised it from the ashes. So, yeah. With that, but the issue ends with Patsy flopping down on the couch after drop kicking Buttons. Not bad. Fun little Iron Man and Hellcat story. I like that. It's nice to see an annual that does at least somewhat involve the larger goings on of at least one of the involved characters. So that's always a plus. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got She-Hulk number 4. A lot of number 4s this month, so far at least. Where we left off, She-Hulk is taking care of Jack of Hearts, trying to get her legal practice back up and running, and she's got a firm to work for, and she has a client in the form of Ben Grimm. Apparently, while he was in space, he missed the due date on a ticket. So we begin picking up on a thread from earlier in the series. Titania and She-Hulk's fight club. Turns out that Titania has brought Volcana along as well. Turns out that Titania was afraid that She-Hulk was going to bring backup to the fight. But and Volcana would love to go a few rounds with She-Hulk as well, but, well, She-Hulk doesn't want to deal with her lava. Then Ben Grimm shows up, and he also kind of wants it on the whole, superhumans just, wailing, fighting each other, just, not to, just kind of, just, sparring without having to really hold back, kind of thing. But She-Hulk and Ben have lunch with Ben explaining what happened, and she basically explains that what Ben ought to do is just pay the ticket. And now he's got to appear in court because of it, because he was in space and he forgets things. But Jen explains that they'll go to court. Ben will pay the fine. And then Ben wants to know how Jen's holding up, But and Ben asks also how the new job's going, how she's holding up, how the new job's going, and with the job, said it'll be fine. But she got to sign a few more clients. When she returns to the office, well, there are a bunch of clients already waiting for her. Nightcrawler, Karnak, Mr. Fantastic, Shang-Chi, Sam Alexander Nova, Wong, Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, Moon Knight, and Captain America, Sam Wilson. So it's like, they wanted, the person whose firm that Jen's working for doesn't want a lot of extra human clients. Though it turns out that her boss made a name for herself representing every costume bad guy in the States. She explains that she can still she can still take their cases, but it needs to be, they all need to be discreet. With Moon Knight being the one to say that they can be discreet. But as everyone leaves, She-Hulk asks Mr. Fantastic to stay back because she was curious if she could come by the lab and have her gamma levels checked. Apparently, he keeps a radiation monitor on him, and he scanned her. Everything seems to be in order. But as Reed leaves, he asks that Jen call Sue, since she misses Jen, and also thanks Jen for helping with their custody case. He's been relieved to hear that she's practicing again, after all. Later, Jen meets Jack of Hearts in the park, and the list of things that she's had him go over. Well, yeah. First is what he knows, which is simply I, and skips a few lines. Then who he trusts enough to ask for help. She-Hulk and reference librarians. Apparently, also in college, Jack Hart was a poetry major. But while they jokingly fight over the notepad, Jack grabs She-Hulk's wrists, and something happens. But it seems there's no lasting effects. And Jen gives him the radiation meter. Apparently, the first thing that when Jack came to, he was thinking Jennifer. Just all he could think was her name. And he remembered something from leaving the lab. Do you hear the clank of the muskets in the midst of you? Meaning he was in Brooklyn. They find the spot, but it's not really ringing any other bells for him. They go get some bubble tea. And he's kind of thinking maybe this just means that he's gonna maybe it's like a reverse of maybe his power. He says he's diminished. Maybe his power levels are going down in general. But the loud clomp and someone yells Jack's name, and She-Hulk hulks out, and as this mystery person says, "Jack of Hearts, I found you." And we don't see who the mystery person is, but that is where the issue ends. Fun book. To be completely honest, the scene with all the various superhumans in She-Hulk's office was rather amusing. I would love to know what Captain America and Moon Knight were discussing. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Thor Lightning and Lament. Recent new Thor one-shot. It largely retells Thor's Marvel origin, interspersed with initially a fight between Thor and Absorbing Man, then Donald Blake. This is being still in the set in the time period when Thor would switch between being Thor and Donald Blake, but Donald Blake saving the life of a young child, recounting his origin. When Heimdall appears, and apparently an army of trolls have attacked attacked Asgard in Odin's absence. Apparently, Loki is sitting on the throne, while Tyr, the Norse god of war, is advising him of a battle plan. But the warriors are doing what they can to deal with the warriors of Asgard are doing what they can to deal with the troll assault. When Thor shows up, him and the Warriors 3 to help take out the trolls. The Troll King has a boulder launched from a catapult, which Thor destroys with Mjolnir. However, a smaller piece of the boulder hits Sif in the head. Odin shows up. They say with a weapon from the dwarves, which was why he was away. And after the dwarves are defeated, or after the trolls are defeated, Thor goes to check on Sif, and the Asgardian soldiers aren't really sure. They're doing what they can for her, and so Thor reverts to Donald Blake and uses his surgical expertise to save Sif. Big banquet. Loki sulks. Yeah, it's an okay story. Like, this is the kind of thing that could have been, a backup story in an anniversary issue or something, or it could have been an annual. Yeah, it's okay. It feels, it does capture the feel of older Thor books, but yeah, like I said, it's all right. The Todd Nack's art is good as usual, and Ralph Macchio's writing is also quite good. I think Macchio actually wrote Thor back in the 90s for a minute. I know he actually appeared in the first Thor movie, but in one of the various banquet scenes. But anyway, moving on to our last one for the moment, we've got DC versus Vampires Killers. Where we left off, the vampires won. They controlled, they took over the world. Pockets of human resistance still existed in various places, including Gotham, but yeah, that's like they were largely allowed to exist because, well, the vampires needed a food source. So, Killers focuses on Harley Quinn. We begin with Harley and Catwoman busting in on Mad Hatter, who's apparently making claims that he can get people out of Gotham. Harley kills Hatter. Has dinner with Clayface and Grundy when Jim Gordon shows up. He has a vial of that he claims is Lex Luthor's blood. Something in it kills the vampires, and so he wants Harley to take it. Take it and get it out of Gotham. But the vampires show up. Scarecrow, Atom Smasher, Dr. Midnight, and Mr. Terrific. Harley, Clayface, and Grundy escape, but the vampires want Gordon to stay. She returns home to Arkham, which is where she and Catwoman stay. Catwoman offers to clean her up, but Catwoman found the vial of blood. And Catwoman suggests she sell it to the vampires, and also wants to make sure that Harley gives Selina a cut. Down in the sewers, she's looking for a crew, finds Grundy, only Grundy's been killed, and Clayface has been turned into basically a small pile of sentient mud. But she pulls out a small thing of holy water, takes out Dr. Midnight, and is then bitten by Mr. Terrific. Or also Mr. Terrific. She doesn't get bitten by Terrific. When she returns to Arkham, Catwoman's waiting on her. And turns out Catwoman's a vampire, goes after her, and puts the bite on Harley. Turns out Harley did quite the crazy thing. She injected Gordon's blood into her, or Lex's blood into herself. Turns out the blood was real because it kills Selina. And so Harley decides that she's gonna. Looks like she's humanity's last hope. She's not too happy with that as she leaves the remains of Arkham, and that is where the issue ends. Okay, fun stuff. There's an ad for the next I don't remember if it was a miniseries or it might just be a one shot. DC versus Vampires All Out War. Apparently going to have a handful of backup stories. It looks like we'll be getting Azrael, Deathstroke, I think Booster Gold, Bane, Mary Marvel, and Deadman. That ought to be interesting. But as I've been stating, I'm still irked that Dynamite became the head vampire. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.